What's up, friendly neighborhood nerds? If you want to hear interviews from industry pros, get first looks, and have access to endless comic content, wake up. Please wake up. You're in a coma. Your mother misses you.
What up, friendly neighborhood nerds? You are in for a treat. Our friend, the totally radical Kevin Eastman, is back on our show, and today we're gonna chat. We're gonna chat about the Last Ronin #1, Wish for Death.
Oh,
Great to have you back. It's good to see you, Kevin. How's life?
Thanks, guys. So nice to be back here with you guys, and I appreciate. Yeah, life is good. You know, it's like I'm still getting up every day and drawing for a living, and that's the best gift ever.
awesome.
Wonderful.
Pretty lucky.
So I feel lucky because I knew that the Last Ronin was going to be cool, but I really was not prepared for just how cool.
Thank you.
Completely. It's like you captured the gritty feel of like the original Mirage run, but then there was also like almost like a Frank Miller Dark Knight / Mark Millar Old Man Logan vibe on top of it. What I was curious while reading was which elements came from you and Laird's original concept, and then what has Tom Waltz sort of brought to the table?
It's really kind of a perfect storm of all of the above, and in the sense that when Peter and I were wrapping up, say, issue 11 of the Turtles back in 1987, and we were looking to where the Turtles would go next. We were like, well, let's look 30 years down the road and see where they might be then, and we can sort of navigate a path based on what we were thinking about as an idea. So we kind of beat out this 20-page outline of a beginning, middle, and end of what the story might be. And then life happened with toys and cartoons and movies, and I'm not complaining. Just with that kind of stuff was shelved, and so we were in a very similar situation, Tom Waltz and I, when we were heading down the road towards issue 100 in December of 2019, and we were looking, well, where do we go from here? And I said, well, similarly, I've got this idea that Peter and I wrote. What if we take a very specific sort of Dark Knight kind of approach and look 20, 25 years down the road and adapt it to what it could be, but most importantly, the same inspiration that inspired Peter and I on that original idea, we're taking all the way home. Was if you look at the very first issue of the Turtles, it is based on it's a revenge story. It's one of those things that Oroku Saki killed Splinter's family, and he found and raised the Turtles and trained them to take revenge on Oroku Saki, and that was sort of the basis of that issue. And so we want to sort of complete that in our own way while paying full and wholehearted respect to what Peter and I originally wrote. So it's a journey long in the making, but it's the most fun I've had in a long time, and and I had a blast on the Turtles ongoing series with IDW, so it's pretty exciting.
Awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and give spoiler alert here. If you clicked on this video about with Kevin Eastman with the Last Ronin in the title, and you expected no spoilers, you were wrong. So here's your spoiler warning. So there's been a lot of back and forth ever since last time you were on the show. You told us about the Last Ronin, and then we've been following it, Twitter, everything, and the internet's been buzzing, trying to figure out who this is gonna be. And I feel, not that I read all of Twitter yet, but I feel that it was pretty much down to two. It was either the obvious one, Raphael, or the subverting expectations of Michelangelo. And I don't want to say I called it, but I called it. And
I was on Team Raph for sure.
Yeah. And so I was like, when I got to that last page and April O'Neil calls him Mikey, I'm like, yes. So here's my question. Was there a specific reason why you chose Michelangelo for this revenge story? And I also have a quick follow-up. Is Michelangelo the playful, funny, everything's a joke type as a way to cope with the trauma that these four have experienced since their training?
No, both really good questions, and much like the shirt that you're wearing or the hat that I'm wearing, Michelangelo, even before he was named Michelangelo, was basically the firstborn. So I felt like that was a specific inspiration, and there was really never, at least in my mind, and that he was the one that would be the last Ronin. And then, as far as as a storytelling challenge for both Tom and I, because we're co-writing it together, and adapting it and then co-writing this thing together, is that because of the perception of Michelangelo being that kind of character is more easygoing, sort of fun-loving, and probably more so in the cartoon series than even in the original Mirage series. It was really interesting as a challenge that he would be the one that have the most difficult story arc, so that you could you already like him, you already love him, and you already worry about him because he's just this great fun guy, and then have him go this full thing of like, it'd be like growing up in I don't want to say like a war zone, or just going through tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. It changes you, and as good spirited as you are. However, it's used as a coping device, because it was always like you said, is like Michelangelo was always used for us as a storytelling device, where when it was a really difficult situation, sometimes he would sort of crack a joke and sort of that would help break the tension or sort of make it a little less painful. But this was sort of, he was right in the middle, and after so many tragedies, as you'll find out as you go through the story, not to make it so grim and sad, but it's but he has to step up to be the last member of his family, to represent his family and family honor, and complete this task that Peter and I started in issue 1 of the Turtles. So you're going to see some pretty intense stuff, and if you think issue 1 was intense, keep your seatbelts buckled, because it's we're going all the way there, and all the other issues are going to be pretty.
That's so awesome.
Awesome.
Right.
April looks great for her age, by the way. And she's still rocking yellow. What has she been up to this whole time?
I can't give you a lot of information because it would offer up too many spoilers. But the thing was that we wanted her to be, when Peter and I brought her into the series in issue 2, she was sort of the sister, I guess, if you will, almost kind of motherly sort of sister. She was one of them, and Peter and I both adored strong female characters like your Sarah Connor or your Lieutenant Ripley, or so many other significant female heroines. So we really wanted her to be on an equal playing field with the Turtles, and so as the story evolves, it was important to us that April play a really prominent role in it. And so it was, and the tip of the hat to the to the yellow was just one of those things that the incredible colors, Luis Delgado, and the art team that we've been working with, the Escorzo brothers, Isaac and Esau, have just kicked it all the way out of the frickin' park without me using any swear words. But it was just our tribute to all things April, and you're gonna dig where it's going with April as well.
Stoked.
Yeah. That's so great. So this is a limited series, right? And but you're doing some pretty deep and some extensive world building here. Some of the information that we're getting in issue number 1. Can we expect some of the stuff that we're gonna see in the Last Ronin to survive outside of this series? Almost like how like an Old Man Logan kind of thing, where maybe it's not the last we see of old man Michelangelo.
Well, that's it's one of those things that it's really up to you guys in so many ways. I mean, even like when I first got back and fully involved in the IDW in the Turtles comic book series with IDW and Tom Waltz, and who I adore in every sense of the word, and we've suddenly we're 9 years later, we've done 100 issues, and that's all your fault, and thank you, by the way. So you really helped us guide that series. You gave us the opportunity to tell a story that we wanted to tell. So with the Last Ronin, it was very similar in that we were we weren't sure how it would be received. We hoped if we did a job right that it would be something interesting and exciting. And then right now it's all about, we've got 160 pages left to show you guys. 4 more issues, 40 pages each. And that was another fun thing that we really wanted to do, was go back to that more traditional Mirage Studio style with the oversized issues and then the longer page count in the issues. So we've got a long way to go, but we built the world from the ground up, and we've already, as an aside, we said, well, if people really like it, maybe there is an opportunity to tell a story off to this side or that side. So it really comes down to if we do our job well and you guys dig it, then it's a world we'd like to keep exploring.
Well, I'll tell you what, you'll know better. I mean, you obviously would know better than me because you're getting these reports in, but everybody on the internet's talking about how at this point it's hard to find an issue. Like they're come tell me.
I had to battle an army of vicious nerds to get my hands on this.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That's good news.
And God bless you guys, because it's one of those things that you never know. You can do. You pour your heart and soul into it, and you hope for the best, and it really comes down to you guys. If we're doing a job well, then it's exciting to hear that, because we really weren't sure how it would be received.
So you worked with the Escorza brothers when you published Tarna that they drew with Alex DeCampia. Two-part question: is that kind of where you got to know them, and was it a challenge to really select an artist for this project, or did they sort of come to mind right away?
No, it was actually, because I loved working with them at Heavy Metal, and originally I was a big fan of an artist named Andy Kuhn, who'd done some turtle work, and we tried to work with Andy. The schedules just didn't match up the way we wanted to and what we needed to, because it's a massive 200-page story. But with the the Escorza brothers, it was just one of those things that I love their work so much, and I reached out to them early on, and I just said, are you guys available around this time? And thankfully they were, because they were pretty busy. And what's going to be really fun is, besides the Escorza brothers, who are doing the bulk of the work, I think about 130 pages total, we've got a couple specific flashback scenes that I'm working with my old friend Ben Bishop, who we work with on Blood and stuff. So Ben's doing a few flashback scenes that are going to be quite monumental and remarkable. So it's nice to sort of, it's getting like our Dark Knight and Batman Year One all in the same series, and not giving any spoilers, but you guys are gonna you get it when you see it.
I'm too excited.
Yeah, this book is good. This book is really good. We're not supposed to fanboy here. We're supposed to be professional, but I just want to let you know, this book is really good.
Thank you.
So so I apologize for the order of these. I feel like I should have asked this earlier, but we're gonna go ahead and ask it anyway this way. Here's another spoiler warning. You guys are already here. So when we got to the part where Michelangelo is going to commit seppuku,
yep.
I'm not gonna lie. I sat there and I'm like,
what?
is this what is going on here? Like, what am I reading? But in a great way. Like, I hadn't even turned the page yet, and Judah and I are texting each other. Did you get? And we didn't want to spoil it for each other because we didn't know where we were. He's like, seppuku. I'm like, seppuku. What is going on? And so this was like really, really great, really deep. It really spoke to us. Without giving spoilers, and you kind of mentioned it already, but for like number 2, what is the let's see, I don't want to ask you for spoilers because the answer is you can't give it to me, but thematically, what can we expect in issue number 2 and beyond?
Well, it's the intensity that even that scene, when Tom and I wrote it in issue 1, it was very specific, because we really did feel like Michelangelo's attack and what he wanted to accomplish, sort of the final mission to bring honor to the family, for a lot of stuff that you'll find out about in later issues, upcoming issues. And when you fail that, traditionally it's like seppuku is a way to still bring honor to your family when you can't continue the fight. And so we went there, specifically to represent how serious and how intense his mission was and what it meant, and the fact that he did survive under the circumstances that we showed you just at the very end. That you're going to find each issue will have that kind of intensity. There's stuff that's like, man, I just, I'd love to tell you more, but it's like, you're going to see stuff in issue 2 that's going to be like, what? And then, then that's the kind of the way that we kind of planned it out, not only big action set pieces, but big reveals and moments that will definitely reflect specifically on moments in time back on the original Mirage series and stuff. So, yeah, you'll I'll put it this way. Let's circle back and talk again in a couple months, and you let me know how we're doing.
Awesome.
Right.
Can do. I have, if we have time, I got questions from people in our Discord. Quick questions for Kevin Eastman.
I think we got what? Yeah, we can do one. My boss says we can do one before we have to roll to the next one. So,
okay, last question here, and we'll get out of here. Did you take any inspiration from Frank Miller's Daredevil? Oh
my goodness, yeah, Frank. I have personal mentors in my life. Jack Kirby being number one. Richard Corbin closely behind Jack Kirby for his creativity and inventiveness. But then I was a huge fan of all things comics, especially Daredevil. And then when Frank Miller came in Daredevil issue 158, and then what he did, over the course of the series with my favorite comic book character was mind-blowing. And then what he's done in his career and what he's done to change and evolve comics to the next evolution and next generation he's been a huge influence. So, yeah.
Awesome. That question was from Britain. Thank you, Britain. Ladies and gentlemen, and NBs, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Eastman, for joining us and talking to us about The Last Ronin. Go jump on your local comic book store's desk and tell them to order more because like you heard, the best is yet to come, apparently. You guys take it easy, and thank you for voting. Thank you for voting. So,
yes. Thank you for voting, and thank you guys. I really enjoyed chatting. And let's look at I'm serious. Circle back in a couple months and let's talk again.
Okay, sounds great.
Absolutely, 100%. All right, take it easy.
Later, Kevin.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that was Kevin Eastman, the creator of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're going to circle back with him in a couple months, and you definitely don't want to miss it. He's starting to become kind of a regular on our program. We're going to talk about later issues of The Last Ronin as they come out.
Yeah, listen. We got to ask, thank you, Britain, in our Discord. Thank you for the question. We're going to be doing that more often. So don't forget to check us out around the rest of the socials. We have a very significant, I'd say our main population is on Facebook and the Facebook groups. But we also have a Discord going. We're on Twitter. We're on Reddit, I think it's called. Yeah, what are the kids calling it these days? We're out there. So check the description. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share with your friends, and join us in our Discord and Facebook or wherever else you're at.
Cowabunga, dude!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell. Turtle power. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell. Turtle power. They're the world's most fearsome fighting team. We're really hip. They're heroes in a half shell, and they're green.